Wait a minute here. What is going on? It seems that my opponent is Kit from Knight Rider. There's no driver. I don't think this is the way it's meant to be. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Motorama. I am SocioPsycho, and this is Mob Reviews, and today we will be taking a look at this so-called classic racing game by 251 Games, available for PC in a 1950s American race-em-up style cars available to you. Is it any good? Is it any bad? Well, let's find out. And we will start in the options menu. Now, when we jump into the options menu, you do have audio, which is good, but also bad. The SFX sounds, thus being the cars and the transmissions and the revving up, are really not there. You don't have this vroom vroom type mentality. It's pretty much just like meep meep. It's just, wow, really? And the music, you're like, yeah, I'm driving to this music, ba 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 ba. But it just doesn't shut up, and there's only one song for the entire game for every race. The same song over and over and over again. So turn that off and turn on your own music. As far as game aesthetics go, it's just like, are you serious? I've heard this like 50 times. You're telling me you can't find any other music? You're driving me crazy here. Now, if you hadn't noticed, at the bottom there is what looks like to be a controller input. This game has an issue with its control, and when you go into controls, all you see is transitions and vibration. It is ported, it is created, it is available for PC, but there's no overlay for the controls. Now, I had to look into the Steam forum pages. Wasn't hard to find the controls listed for the game. Well, it wasn't an official dev post. It was a post by a dev. It wasn't like on top of the page in a big bold like, hey, that's a dev post. The controls of the game are very easy. I move my car by the arrow keys, and I brake by the arrow keys. But when I'm moving in and between the panels of the options, I'm required not to hit escape but to actually hit backspace. I don't remember the last time I've had a game that I've actually had to use backspace in, unless it was maybe some sort of typing adventure from the 90s where it's like, you're in a room, what do you want to do? Look at chair. Oops, I spelled chair wrong, let me backspace. Now, you also notice that there's not much as well as the graphic qualities of the game, as when you load up there is a small pop-up screen, and it does have a wide berth of screen resolution, so at least I got that right, so that's good. Yay! Graphically, the game is decent. It's not a horrible looking game, it's not going to win any awards, but it gets by. Unfortunately, there has been some performance issues on the graphic part. Now, these haven't been too large. There have been some minor graphic issues as I play the game, and they revive themselves shortly after. It's like little areas where either the terrain will flicker or the vehicle will flicker, and then it'll stop and go back to normal. The real annoyance of the bug issues come from times where you are literally unable to see anything in the terrain, or the opponent drivers that you're racing against, their people are actually sitting 20 feet above their car. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So there have been issues, and unfortunately this does come down to unplayable. The small graphic physicality issues that disappear, no, okay, yeah, it's a little annoying, but you get by it, it's not a big deal. But when you're unable to actually play one of the missions and you can't progress forward until you play and complete and beat every mission, it's like kind of stops you dead in your tracks. All these bugs kind of just gnaw on you, and it's like, really? And this is a game that I enjoyed playing, but I hated to have to play more of it. If my channel was a first impressions channel, I would be like, oh my god, guys, this game is amazing. I don't know why he's Australian, but he is. But I'm a review channel, and so after playing for a while and seeing majority of what the game has to offer, and experiencing the wonders of the bugs, the annoyances in the delivery system of the UI, why? Why? It's so close. Okay, well maybe not so close, but it's in the same room as like, hey, you almost did good, but not really. So why do I say that? Why am I being so mean? Well, when we go into career, you do have race events, garage, car dealer, and awards. Now, we'll start on the basis of awards. They're very easy. Awards pretty much show you the skills that you've managed to accomplish throughout the career of your driving. So you have drifting, slipstream, which is following somebody behind them without bumping into them, jump, so on and so forth. And you can see how many of you've done, and you're like, yay, I've done these, they're awesome. And the pictures on the side, I'm not sure what these pictures are. I think they're the chapters complete, so it unlocks a portrait. Okay. Doesn't do anything. Don't know why you put that in there, but sure. When we deal with car dealers, the car dealer is actually one of the areas where I'm like, okay, sweet. You have a decent amount of car selections, a different amount of performance options of the base value, and what you can purchase to build your car up. So for the race game, it's like, oh, sweet, I got some excellent choices here. And as you can see on the layout here in the top right-hand corner, you have the money value you have and the car level, skill level you are. It's not very clear about what bonuses, if any, you get when you level up, because you don't see an improvement over any of the stats on your car itself. So if leveling up does give you some sort of passive ability, it doesn't represent itself into the actual showing of your vehicle's performance that you can read. Now you also have your money, and this is where it kind of comes down. When you start a game, you're like, sweet, new cars. You get cars as you unlock throughout the game. It has plenty of cars, and different cars have base stats that you can upgrade, and you'd be like, all right, awesome, I'm gonna rock out, I'm gonna get some cars here, and it's gonna be good. But as you can notice, the prices get higher and higher and higher. And while the rewards for winning do increase to a point, the cost, if we go into garage, the cost of also purchasing performance upgrades increases as well. So if we go into transmissions, you can see for the max tier, which will increase our acceleration to 50%, is 640. Now yes, you will gain an increase in the purchase of your money if you become first in the race of the next levels. Like, hey, I'm on tier 3 racetrack and I'm doing this type of race, I gained $340 for being first place, where on tier 1 I may have gained $200, but the cost keeps going up. On top of that, you also have the cost of the car that you want to purchase. Now you do end up getting some cars unlocked to you, and they do give you some cars, which I'm thankful for, but the whole point of this is the different type of cars that you have will also come down to the upgrades that you want to buy costing more, and you cannot get by without buying upgrades. So you'll start with a shitty car and you'll buy upgrades for it, and you'll get through some races, and then you'll realize even with your shitty car, the max capability, you will not have what you need in order to actually be able to win. So you have to get that next car, and then you have to move that next car to better upgrades to accelerate. I mean, it makes sense. You want to progress, you want to move forward, you want to have your car be faster and faster. It does kind of suck a little bit, but you can't pimp out one of your first starter cars to be way awesome or better, and I kind of get it from a realistic standpoint. But at the same time, if you're replacing the entire engine, really the only thing that would change in is the chassis. So if you're switching out all the body parts that actually make a vehicle go faster, wouldn't a souped up Dune Beetle be able to beat a Corvette if it's been given the right enhancements? So I like the fact that you actually have this capability to upgrade your vehicle and upgrade it and make it a little bit faster and a little bit better. The problem comes down to the fact that it just keeps costing more and more to do so, and you have to buy the next vehicle in order to remain capable of racing in the next tier, which leads to a game being very grindy. You have to replay certain missions over and over again just in order to get enough money to move forward and progress forward. It's not a large game, and so part of me is like, oh, well, I can forgive that because it's just trying to get by. And the other part of me is like, well, I see that, but it's taking away what little fun aspect I have by saying that I have to save my money up and then replay multiple missions over again, stunting my ability to progress because I have to grind to get a car that can even be of slight match to the next tier. Now in visuals, you do have slight capabilities of adding different elements to your car, bumpers, side skirts, and for the different cars they do look a little bit different, of course, but they don't add anything. It's just cosmetics. You're not gonna be like, I painted flames on the side of my car, now it goes faster. No, sorry, that's not the way it works. But if you wish to have your vehicle look a certain way, then you have that ability within limitation. Of course, it's not huge and like, oh my god, there's thousands of options, what do I do? It's alright, it gets by. Don't worry about it, baby. So with visualization and pimping your vehicle out, they also have rims. If that's your thing, then, that's your thing. Now we'll go into the race element of the game. Like I said, the map orientation is very sloppy. You do have a mouse handling in the game. A mouse cursor is here, but you can't actually click on the portraits to bring up the title. So you have to scroll through with your up and down arrow keys. And when we go into one of the older tiers, you can see that the different races have a tier system. It's a little bit difficult at first to understand. Gold means it came in first, blue means second, and red is third or failure. So you need to get all of them in gold before you can unlock the next area, which is a little confusing because they have the first four. As you can see, the first four on this list are missions, and the last one is a boss. So the last one is a unlock boss challenge. So I have to do these special requirements in order to unlock the boss, but then I can't move forward to the next zone until I beat the boss. So if a boss is mandatory, why do I need to unlock the boss? Because that doesn't make him special. That's just postponing my progress. Why? Why? I don't understand. You're not adding anything to the game. You're just hurting me. You're not helping with the fluidity of the game. You're saying, hey, why don't you just replay these games because we can't or don't want to come up with more maps. Okay. But I will be fair and I will give just dues to where just dues are required. And the different types of missions that they do have available are actually pretty good. You have beat your own time, where you run around a track with just you and you have to beat your own time and the betterment of what you did. There's a par time and a beat this mandatory time. There's knockouts where you need to run in a race, and if you're the last person, every 30 seconds or a minute, depending on the tier. Say you have 4 cars, and a person who's 4th place, when the timer runs out, they're out of there. When the timer runs out again, 30-second countdown, whoever's in 3rd place, they're out of there. You have simple sprints on maps and get through different sharp turns and country area. The thing when it comes down to the racing element of the game is that it's not horrible. And this is why I wanted to like the game. I was like, alright, you know what, I can overlook certain elements. I can overlook a really bad interface and a really annoying and confusing to understand at first. How do I even manage and get to my garage? Or after a mission, if I complete a mission, why can I go to the garage but then I can't select performance? Or why do I have to go to a certain area and go back all the way around? It is a huge issue. Instead of allowing you to just have one step after a race to get to a garage, they add 6 or 8. Because you not only do you have to get there to the garage, but you gotta get back to a racetrack. So you have to go back through 4 more menus. Like I said, I wanted to like this game. I started playing it and I was like, sweet. Music's not bad, the racing's a little, get used to it, I'm not a big racer, but we'll give it a shot and do what we can. Got into it, started playing more, and then I started saying, okay, well, some of the race elements are alright. There are goofy little minor insignificant bugs that you can get by with and ignore. They don't last long. But then when you come up against some bugs which just are groundbreakingly unplayable, where it stops all progress of you actually being able to move forward, that's not good. It's not good whatsoever. On top of that, the enemy seems to have a severe balance issue. You go into a race and there'll be at best 4, you being number 4, but usually less than 3 opponents that you need to face. It would be nice to see more vehicles on the road. It would be nice to have more vehicles on the road and have pedestrian cars actually hit your opponents. Give it more of a NASCAR with 20 cars in a back alley raceway type thing. They should have mashed all that together, but they didn't for whatever reason. And so when you come down to the balance of the game, even if you have amazing acceleration on your vehicle and you take off that front line and you just are bypassing everything and you can see the people in your rear view mirror just becoming dust, and you're like, hell yeah, I got this. This is no problem whatsoever. And then say you miss a turn, or you have to slow down for a turn. Even though your vehicle is able to go twice as fast as everybody else's, and for the last 300 meters, you have not been in touchable range or have not seen anybody behind you. As soon as you slow down to hit that curve, oh poof, here they are. Now you got somebody back again. It tries to make up for a lack in balance, and it's just continuously putting the enemy right behind you instead of actually having it feel like a race. There is a huge discrepancy in between how the game is balanced. It's either the enemy is way too fast above your current level by what you can unlock and the money that you can spend, or it is way too easy. You will have a couple moments, yes, you will have a couple moments where you're like, oh my goodness, I better try to get ahead of this guy, or oh shucks, you beat me. But for the most part, it comes down to the first 20 seconds off the starting line. If by the first 20 seconds of the starting line, you've already exceeded everybody else and you're in the lead, or everybody else has really over-exceeded you, you're pretty much just screwed unless the map has a lot of corners on it. Some corners are sharp where you do need to slow down to make them, and it's nice that it has this turn and easy drift mentality where you're like, yay, I'm flowing through this. Nice and fluidity, but for the most part, for most curves and more open areas, you can cut corners and cut curves, and you're able to catch up on those faster opponents. But at any time where there's a large spread, they pass right by you. It's like the entire map minus 100-meter area is curves and corners and turns and roundabouts. But that 100-meter area is where they'll catch up and pass you and potentially win because of it. The game looks decent enough. It has a nice atmosphere. It's like, hey, I'm driving through the desert. Hey, I'm driving in an industrial area. Or I'm driving through a city, or some variation. It looks nice. The steering isn't too horrible unless you go off-roading, and then your vehicle is just screwed. Majority of times, especially in the beginning of a race, if you go off-road, you might as well just restart the race because the steering gets all messed up, the gear gets locked into either reverse or forward, and you're just spinning your tires on dirt or pavement, whatever's not a road. And it's like, okay, I get that from a race standpoint, but it's also kind of lame because if I'm being beat out and there's a little curve of a road and I'm able to go right over some terrain to meet back up, I would like the opportunity to do so. But unfortunately, in the game, the level design is very restrictive. They don't have a, okay, well go explore this way, or okay, drive this way. I mean, they should have created a better platform for the races to actually be held on. And they do have good maps where it is restrictive. It is, you can't go any other way, and it doesn't feel bad. But when you open the world up, when you say, hey, you're not driving in washways for rain floodwaters or industrial areas where if you go another way, it's impossible because there's walls, you're driving in the country, or you're driving along the beach or some variation. But if I go 4 feet off the road, I hit an invisible wall, my car flips over, and now I'm in last place. It's not cool. It's annoying and restrictive. So at the end of the day, what we have is a game that is in the same room as good. And whether the devs are trying to work on this, trying to fix this, whatever the case is, it is not ready for launch. And the fact that they have selling it like it is, selling it as if it's a complete game, is just unfortunate to see. I wanted to like this game, I really did. But the fact that the music is very repetitive, yeah, you can turn it off and add your own music, okay, not a huge deal. But then the AI is very unsighted, it's either way ahead of you or way behind you. It is very grindy because you have to continuously complete new missions and new missions and new missions in order to actually get upgrades to move to the next tier because the jump in difficulty is so high. And then you usher in all the bugs, the bad UI, the where the hell are the controls, and a lack of sound. You don't have a sense of power during this game. The reason why people, when they have midlife crisis, go out and buy a car and they sit in that hot new car of theirs, their sports car or whatever, their muscle car, and they hit that pedal and they're like, vroom, vroom. It makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel a sense of, yeah, I'm the man. I got big balls and I'm here to stay. My life has purpose. It's like, okay, but this game doesn't have that. You have no adrenaline, no testosterone, no idiotic douchebag, look at my car, it's fucking powerful and in your face type attitude whatsoever. It's more like taking out grandma's car that she's owned for 60 years. And you're like, hey guys, I'm going to the store in my Doom buggy, which is from 1940s before they even made them. And the saddest part is the fact that they're asking $20. If they were asking $5, I'd say I'd understand. For $5, I understand the purchase of this game. A few hours of fun, you get $5 to waste, no problem. For $10, it's like, oof, you must absolutely love car games and are itching for something new because you've played everything else on the market. For $15, I'd be scratching my head and saying, did somebody that you know that knows absolutely nothing about video games, knows that you have a passion for racing games and decided to buy this just because they saw it on Steam? And for $20, you're just a fucking idiot. There's no way getting around it. As it is right now, for full price, no, I cannot recommend it. I won't recommend it. I enjoyed what time I had in the game until it was cut short by the continuation of grindiness, the frustration overbuilt of either the enemy being way too powerful or me being way too weak, and really having no sense of purpose and the controls being all over the place. So I've been SocioPsycho, and this has been Mob Reviews, and this one needs to stay in the 1950s. I'll see you next time.